All right. Good morning, or afternoon now, I guess, 12:12. So this is going to be part one of two of the pasta polo. So to begin with, we're going to put together our pasta dough. What you'll need is 2 cups of flour. So I have 1 cup of all-purpose, 1 cup of semolina. But you could use all-purpose for both, wheat for both. It's whatever your preference is. And then what you're going to do, if you're using two separate ones, is combine them together into a cohesive flour. Okay, from there, you're going to create a well in the center. You're going to take 2 eggs. We're going to crack them into the center. Okay. From there, you're going to add a little bit of salt just to the eggs to give them a little bit of flavor and to flavor your pasta. I usually just go side to side across the pan. You're going to take a little bit of oil and just drop probably about a teaspoon or so in. This is pretty much all to your taste. And then you're going to take your fork again and start to beat your eggs in the center. But we don't want them beaten like scrambled eggs, just start to break them up. And then as you're tossing and breaking them up, toss in a little bit more flour here and there as you start to incorporate it in. Okay. And then as soon as it gets incorporated enough for you to handle with your hands, go ahead and do so. I'm not quite there yet. And then you're not going to incorporate all of the flour into this dough. The extra flour there is so that way if it does go, or if it's a little bit wet, a little bit dry, you can add more to it. With this in particular, it all depends on your atmosphere, what's going on, how cold it is, how warm it is outside, how big your eggs were, things like that all go into this. Alright, and then once you're able to touch it with your hands, start kneading it together. What we're looking for is a cohesive dough. And we're going to knead it here for probably about 6 or 7 minutes. You can add the excess flour on the outside if you want to. It's not necessary. And then you're going to knead it until you form a smooth dough. Which could take for a little bit. And I'm doing this on a plate just because it helps with some of the mess. But you can do this on a countertop, you can do this on a tabletop, whatever's easiest for you in order to get your strength behind it. And when your dough is done, it needs to be about the consistency of Play-Doh. If it's a little bit sticky, just add a little bit of flour to the outside. It should be slightly sticky. We don't want it overly worked. Then you're going to form it into a disc. Set that to the side. And as you can see, I have a whole bunch of flour left in here. That flour is now dead. You might see little pieces in here. That's perfectly fine. You actually want those pieces out as those are imperfections to your pasta. And then what you're going to do is toss this away. Okay. And then you're going to take your disc here, and you're going to wrap it in plastic wrap. Now, this next part is very important. It does need to sit for at least a half an hour, which is why the pasta polo is going to be in 2 sections in order to let the dough rest, form its glutens, etc. So, put it out here, set your disc in the center. Okay. And then wrap it up and just set it out on the counter for at least a half an hour. It does need to stay at room temperature. And that's pasta polo number 1. And here in a half hour, I'll give you pasta polo number 2.